William Morrow and HarperAudio present False Claims, One Insider's Impossible Battle Against Big Pharma Corruption, by Lisa Pratta, read by Dina Pearlman. For the sake of the narrative, some of the characters in this book are composites, and some of the names of other characters have been changed to protect their identities. For Marco, without you, there would have been no inspiration for a book. I love you to the moon and back. Love, Mom. The False Claims Act, a federal law that states any person who knowingly submits or causes to submit fraudulent false claims to the government is liable for 3 times the government's damages. How the price of this drug rose so far so fast is a story for these troubled times in American healthcare. Andrew Pollack, New York Times, December 30th, 2012. Prologue. Merchants of Hope. The key to being a good salesperson is being a good listener. As it turns out, the same skill applies to being a whistleblower. I've always known how to listen, but I prefer to do the talking. A neurologist I worked with once told me I was the Joan Rivers of pharmaceutical sales. I'd sit in the doctor's offices and ask, "Can we talk?" And then we'd end up chatting about Philly sports teams or celebrity gossip. By the time I got around to making the case for them to prescribe my medication, they'd already been sold on me, so the rest was easy. I loved my job for many years, but by the time a former colleague asked if I would become a whistleblower against our employer, Questcor Pharmaceuticals, I no longer did. Still, I had to consider what it would mean to go to the U.S. Department of Justice with what I knew. And with my work schedule, I didn't have lots of time to consider something that could potentially turn my life upside down. That night, just hours after my colleague confronted me, Questcor was hosting one of their white coat marketing extravaganzas, otherwise known as patient programs. They were helpful information sessions over a free dinner. To clarify, they helped Questcor, not the patients. The Italian restaurant sat right off the highway in Freehold, New Jersey. I'd been in and out of so many restaurants during my career in pharma sales that they mostly blended together. But this was one place I'd never forget. The dinner haunts me to this day. My role for the evening was hostess. Welcome, I'm Lisa Pratta, the specialist from Questcor. That's what salespeople are called in my field, specialists. I helped a middle-aged woman in a wheelchair find a spot at one of the tables. She was accompanied by a healthcare aide. Many of the guests arrived with an aide or caregiver. Multiple sclerosis is a crippling disease that attacks the central nervous system, the part of our bodies responsible for our mobility, our speech, and our vision. Basically, everything we do. The drug I promoted to doctors, Acthar, was indicated to relieve flare-ups of the disease and bring people back to where they were before the attack. The goal of the patient dinner was to educate them about the drug. Patient programs are a lot of work and expense compared to, say, running a television ad. That's why companies, particularly in the biotech industry, use them only for specialized drugs. For these medications, it simply doesn't pay to run standard ads because the drugs cater to a very small patient population. Running an ad on television casts too wide a net. How many people watching any given television show happen to have multiple sclerosis? Considering that the MS population in the entire United States is maybe 1 million people, compared to the nearly 7 million who suffer from Alzheimer's, the chances are not high enough. So, somewhere along the line, a pharma exec had the idea to get them all into a room. During the patient programs, I was forbidden from answering questions or offering
Sample complete. Ready to continue?